Detroit, Michigan, founded in 1701 by French military officer Anthony Cadillac, along with 51 other French Canadians, has been and continues to be the engine of innovation and industry, not only in the state of Michigan, but in the United States.
One of the great advantages that our company has over our competitors is our people. We have the best talent, the most energized, creative workforce of anybody in the mortgage business, out of anybody in practically any other business. And the way to attract the most talented, edgy, pioneering, creative type people is to put them in a work environment that is exciting to them and kind of feeds their energy and fosters their creative spirit. And the city of Detroit, more so than the suburbs, does that for us. It's an interesting city. When you look out your window and you see cool architecture, cool buildings, bars, restaurants, theaters, stadiums, all that type of stuff, it's very inspirational and it motivates people. I already consider downtown to be a reasonably good mix of residential and office and retail. I just think we need more residential. It'll probably never be typical single-family housing, of course, but I think there's a great demand for residential downtown. There's many people I know that are looking for apartments or having a hard time finding apartments. We have the Live Downtown incentive program that's help people make the decision to live downtown. We have the Broderick Tower coming online very soon. You have the Whitney building coming online not too far after that. So there are apartments being added. There's talks of some other apartment buildings being added to the mix. Right now we have a lot of office. We need more retail. We need more residential. We probably need a little bit more parking as well. I see downtown becoming a very healthy mix of residential, office, and retail, and then special interesting uses such as Campus Martius Park. Right now it's a little bit imbalanced, but as we add more housing and more retail, which I think that's where the emphasis is now and will be over the next year or so, I think it's going to be a very healthy mix.
Bedrock was formed to handle all of the real estate acquisitions, construction, leasing, management, anything related to the real estate of any of the buildings that we are buying, as well as anything that we might develop, and then also handles all of the leases for the Quicken offices around the country. So, we have an office in Scottsdale. If they need to expand or they need to relocate, Bedrock steps in and negotiates those leases for them and handles all of the leasing and build out and everything related to that particular office in that location. Dan and I had talked over the years. We grew up together, both of us in Southfield, went to Southfield Lathrop together. And over the years, I was developing out in the suburbs for about 21 years. And we would say, we should do something together. And as I heard about him wanting to move Quicken down to Detroit, I said to him, we should do something together in Detroit. We should buy buildings together. So it was really just, let's start that movement, let's make that move. And I jumped on board, and I cannot believe that I am in the middle of this and living this incredible opportunity of changing what Detroit is. And we're really coming out with a new Detroit. Yes, it's revitalizing Detroit, but it's a different new Detroit. It's a high-tech Detroit.
Really, I could say the reason for coming to Detroit is that I'm from Detroit. Born and raised, I love Detroit. I love everything about Detroit. And I knew that Detroit was on a swing back. And what I say is I was paying attention to the things that were happening with the current, the former administration, and trying to get, headquarters and companies to come downtown. And I looked at that as a positive note. And so I said, well, if all these people are going to come downtown and all these things are going to be happening downtown, people are going to need a place to eat. I said, so I already had a restaurant downtown inside Ford Field, the Amore International Cafe, and I had a great run. The arena is a lot different than full service. So I said, I need to get back into the food industry, and I saw this opportunity, saw this building, this space, and I went after it. Detroit has always been the place where great things were birthed out of, from music to the auto industry, NFL players that came right from, PAL leagues and baseball and everything. Detroit is a birthing ground for greatness, and that's why it was important. It was important to help a city that has been dogged nationally, that have been talked about, we've been stepped on. And like I told him before, it's like the David and Goliath story. We will tear down the giants, and we will succeed, and we will make it. And that's what I stand for. I believe I'm an ambassador for this city. I let other restaurant owners know, other stores, even Somerset is here in the city of Detroit. City Loft is here, open. So this is just a great time. The synergy is different. It's a difference when it's a diverse culture of people, different ethnic groups, but we're all for one common goal. There's other owners, we all support each other, and we all talk about each other, and we send people to each other's businesses because, we want everybody to know that Detroit is back. Downtown is the place to be.
Are setting an example. We really are a model home for retail in the city of Detroit. The Somerset Collection really is Detroit. We're all Detroit. And it takes the leaders in the community to show everyone that it can be done and that there is a great market here. Detroit has beautiful buildings and great clientele. It's a great place to do business. Our merchants couldn't wait to come back. I grew up in Detroit. I lived my whole life in Detroit, McKinney Elementary and Taft Junior High, Ford High School. And I loved getting dressed up to come downtown. I couldn't wait to come. When I was growing up, 4 Somerset Collections could fit inside the retail that was in Detroit at the time. I think we're on a comeback now. Several years ago, we did a campaign in 2008 called You Belong Here, and we filmed all over the city of Detroit. We had the most positive response from that advertising campaign that we opened up in 2010 the Detroit shop. And after we opened the Detroit shop, the city said, what can you do down in Detroit? We thought, well, we took Detroit to Somerset, let's take Somerset to Detroit. We tried this business model. It's a pop-up shop, very similar to what they do in New York. It worked so well last year. We decided to come back and invite all of the people that are here for Downtown Detroit Days to join us. Hopefully see the value in doing business in Detroit, and hopefully they'll come back. 5 years from now, I think Woodward Avenue is going to be bustling with retail.
We get to do all the really cool decor stuff and fashion shows and kids shows and family concerts. And so when they decided to come down here and to do some work with City Loft and in the city of Detroit, it was a great next move for us. And so we came along with them, and so our job here and what we do here is very, very similar to what we do at Somerset, and that is to find out what's fun about that and then to help make it more fun. and to help make it not just a retail situation, but a retail and a destination and an entertainment, so that in the same way that people used to, for instance, at Christmas time, would come right where we are now, come down to Hudson's and cruise around and look at the windows and see the beautiful decorations, and then also go in and do their Christmas shopping and their family shopping. In the same way, we're able to come down here and bring Detroit area merchants into this area and sort of coalesce them in a way that is entertaining and provides a place for people to find them. And so we can say, okay, now this, and it's beautiful stuff, it's fun stuff, and it's entertaining, and it's something to do. And we want you to come down. We want you to visit in downtown Detroit and make this that place, that home place that it was, in my childhood. So once again, we can do the same thing. And it's essential on the part of Somerset to say, look, to show merchants from around the country and around the world, this is a great place to be. So if we can get them to come down here and open a shop, open a boutique, or do as we're doing the City Loft, get their toes wet and say, okay, see, there's an audience here. There are people who want to, there's plenty of clubs in Detroit. There's plenty of restaurants. There's lots of entertainment. There's ball games and there's theater. What we don't have enough of down here is retail. So if we can get those retailers, not just big box retailers, but people who are like this guy here, the people around us who are doing their thing on a mom and pop scale, but to become part of a boutique downtown and go back to that time. Kresge's were Kresge's before they were Kmart. And Woolworth was a little guy who had one store at one point. Well, we want to be able to move forward and do that. Everybody who was here, who became the Sanders family, had one little soda fountain right across the street. Verner's was a guy who had a pharmacy down the street. They just had one little place, and they grew into those iconic things that we all grew up with and loved.
I started in construction in 1980. I started out as a carpenter's apprentice, and I worked my way up to a journeyman carpenter, a foreman, general superintendent, and ending as being an estimator before I started my own company in 1989. I started with my first company, Brinker Construction, interior finishing company, and moved on from there with LS Brinker Construction, which is a general contractor, design, build, construction management firm, adding universal glass and metals, full service glass and glazing firm, City Carpet and Flooring, a flooring contractor, all type of resilient vinyl and carpet applications, and Edgewood Electric, which is a full service power company that also does low voltage work along with fire alarm systems. My business has been located here in Detroit from the beginning 23 years ago. And it's important for businesses to be in the city of Detroit because I believe that you have to have a strong central business district in order to continue the renaissance of the city of Detroit. Businesses need to be doing business here and having opportunities here, and I think a lot of other good things will follow with a strong business district. We like the challenge of unique buildings, one-of-a-kind type of buildings, which Detroit has a lot of structures like that. So it takes experience, it takes the willingness to dig a little bit deeper, put a little bit more time into understanding what your task is, and at the end of it is very fulfilling when you've taken a building that when you walked into it, it had probably 6 foot of water along with crumbling concrete and plaster, and stripping all that out and turning it around and putting it back and keeping the historic nature of it is very, very fulfilling. Come to Detroit. Be a part of something new and exciting that's taking place in Detroit. Detroit is definitely going to go upward. It's a good opportunity to do good business in Detroit, and I think it will say a lot about the commitment that business has, not only to the city of Detroit, but to the entire region. You know, even where they would be moving from, it shows us a strong commitment that they want to do good business in the region, and the excitement that's taking place here right now, be a part of it. Be a part of it.
Detroit is open for business, and if you're looking for a place to set up shop, we'd simply like to say, welcome home.